Good afternoon, all. I am honored for this invitation for the talk and welcome Director of SGI, welcome the faculty, students, and a lot of my colleagues are here. I am welcoming all of them to this talk. And we are talking, I'm going to talk on a very important subject. You know, any subject related to farmers are very, very dear to us, isn't it? So, I mean, you are the students of agri business schools, and the first thing that you need to understand is farmers, their requirements, their livelihood, and how exactly they survive, and what exactly we can do wherever we are working, whatever little we can do. So, how we can change the lives of the farmers. So, that is so important. So, I'm going to talk on this. This talk will take almost about 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Then I will wait for some of your comments or question and answer. Then we will wrap up. So this section will be in two sections in this talk. One is we are going to talk on farmers' prosperity. And as a seed company or as a agribusiness professional, how can we contribute on the prosperity of the farm? That is very important. Another is we are going to talk a little bit of seeds marketing. As you might have heard from Mr. Krishna, all my experience are on seeds. In fact, I haven't worked in any other domain apart from seeds. So that is the sector where I feel I know little and I can contribute something. So let's go to the next slide. Uh, Mr. Krishna has already told I'm not going to take much time. So it's I am BSc Agriculture. I have done my PGDM from IIM Ahmedabad. So I passed out in 1992. And currently, I'm the managing partner in Akshay Seed Private Limited, who is at Aurangabad. I have also another company, Supreme Silage India Limited. I'm the founder and MD of that company. Uh, in my professional career, I was the operation head in DuPont Pioneer. I was based in Jakarta, Indonesia. Before that, I was general director in Bioseed Vietnam. There was a long period, almost 7 years I was there, working for Southeast Asian farmers. So it was a completely different picture when we go and work with the farmers in Southeast Asia. Before that, in India, I was marketing and sales head for Seminis West Asia, partly India, and I was business manager for Syngenta India. So almost 28 years of experience in seed sector, both in India and abroad. So I will take some of your time to know a little bit about Akshay Seed, what exactly this company is. We have established during 2008. It's a very upcoming, fastest growing. It's a professional vegetable seed company. We are headquartered at Aurangabad. We aim at becoming one of the top 5 vegetable seed companies. That's our mission. It may take some time, maybe a few years, 5 years, 8 years, 10 years, but we are going to be there. We have our own R&D in 10 vegetable crops. The main center is at Aurangabad. Apart from that, we have established a very good R&D station in Bangalore, and for last 1.5 years in Varanasi. We are marketing our seeds in 18 states, comprising of almost 250 distributors and 20,000 retailers, and millions of farmers. We have almost 100 plus team members working in Akshay Seeds. We are exporting seeds to Southeast Asia also for last 2 years. We have ventured into Vietnam and Bangladesh, and now testing in Thailand and other Southeast Asian countries. One of the focus of Akshay Seed is doing business in most ethical way. That is the most important for us. This company is driven by systems and processes. And for the youngsters, for the students, this is a very good company with a learning environment. You will get tremendous opportunity for good career growth. Let's talk a little bit on agriculture. That's our pet subject, and there are a lot of challenges. There are a lot of opportunities. A lot of growth is happening somewhere. But, if you see last 10 years, the agriculture percentage in GDP is sliding down. Even in It was 18% just 5-6 years before. Agriculture sector is just contributing 15.4% in GDP. But it employs 44% of labor, and 70% population who are living in rural India, they sustain in agriculture sector. Indian per capita GDP in rural region is growing almost 6.2% since 2000. As you know, the population is increasing globally, 7.3 billion now, and it's going to be projected to be 10 billion in 2050. That means we need huge quantity of food and the feed materials. Per capita income is still at a very low level in India. It's around $1,876. There's the estimate for 2021. So if you see the per capita income, we are at a very, very lower level. Even some of the Southeast Asian countries are much higher than us. So there is a huge gap between the potential and the, what we can really do and what we have achieved so far. So we have to really mitigate this gap and go much faster to increase the per capita income. 82% farmers who are in the agri sector, unfortunately, they are very small and marginal farmers. But the good part is, even during this COVID situation, this is the only sector estimated to have 3.4% growth. If we take the Q1, that's the data of 2021. So this is the only sector which has grown 3.4% in the Q1. Other sectors like manufacturing, service, they are all negative. They have all negative growth. Rural economy has been resurgent. It has been researched. A lot of things are getting done in rural economy. However, more needed to do. I mean, a lot of things to be done in this sector. I mean, if we want to really increase our per capita income, give the good livelihood to the farmers, there are a lot to do in each sector of agriculture. I mean, you heard our Prime Minister saying many times, doubling the farmers' income. I mean, that where the prosperity of the farmer, that's the key of prosperity of the farmer. If we all can contribute in this mission, and this such a noble mission of doubling the farmer's income, it may take time, but each of us in agri sector can contribute our portion in that mission. I was just going through ICRISAT, the web page. There are 5 broad principles of agri R&D contributing this sustainable agriculture. You have heard many times PM was saying more crops for drops. I mean, for drops, for water, if you can raise more number of crops, so that will be very, very, I mean, we are going to talk a little bit on that, but the way we give the irrigation, first thing is a lot of our area not irrigated, and somewhere it is flood irrigation. So we are not using the drips and other modern, irrigation technology. So there, we can use many drips and many modern technology where we can save the water and we can grow more number of crops. Reduction of use of chemical fertilizer and pesticide, because that is going to improve. I mean, that's the improved soil health. And adaptive climate changes. I mean, you know that what happened in Hyderabad, what happened during last 1 year, the typhoon is coming, the unusual rain is happening. There are huge drought in some part of the country. So these, we are going to face these climatic changes much faster, more rapidly, and much shortened way. So another is, the doubling farmer income is possible because, the agri sector in the rural area for the small and marginal farmers, it's very difficult to go to the, bank or financial company. Even the access to the market is so limited for them because, there is the issue of infrastructure, the issue of storage. We are going to talk a little bit on that. But these are the broad principles ICRISAT has found out, where, if we can work on any of this, then we can sure increase the income of the farmer. I'm going to talk a little bit on the farmer because since I have, associated with the farming community for such a long period, I'm just telling from the, practical aspect. All of you know, because many of you based in rural areas, maybe your family are in, farming. So you understand. In India, the unfortunately the pity part is small holdings. You know, the 70% farmers just have less than 1 hectare, and most of the agriculture almost like inadequate irrigation facility, and it's just dependent on monsoon. I mean, irrigation facility. Can you believe we are just less than 46%? I work in Vietnam where it is almost 80%. In Indonesia, it's also 70 to 80%. So those smaller countries in Southeast Asia, they have huge irrigation facilities. So they don't really care about the vagaries of monsoons. But yeah, unfortunately, in India we have so inadequate facilities. This, climatic fluctuations, more often we are seeing this. Many crops are getting failed, the rains, heavy rains, and just happening every now and then. And the drought is happening, the more rains are happening, there are a lot of fluctuations are going on. And that is resulting into crop failure. The disease and pest, this is very, very important for the farmers. I mean, the way we are facing COVID situation for last 6 months, and this is a virus, isn't it? And you know that in for plant also, there are so many viruses. You just think of one crop like chili. I mean, we can't even count the number of virus it got affected, and also the strain. Suppose we as a R&D company we breed for some virus and we get a good tolerant hybrid, but within 2 3 years, then that hybrid is not going to become tolerant again because the virus strain keep on changing. So that pose huge challenges for the farmers. So that means as a seed company, we there is always there is a fight between the disease and the breeder. So they are going to fight who is going to win. I mean, the moment we get a new better hybrid, tolerant hybrid, the pest they keep on changing the strain, and there are the new virus, new hungers they keep on coming up. So these are the challenges faced by the farmers, and sometimes immediately we don't have any solution because to breed a tolerant hybrid it takes time, and within that time the crops get affected. Lack of adequate resources, I talked a little bit about it. Unavailability of finance, inadequate market knowledge. Farmers, in villages, they don't even know what are the prices going on. What is the total production for any crop? Let's say corn, cotton, I mean vegetable, rice. What is the total country production? Should I go for that crop or should I go for other crops? Which crop should I take where I can get more price? So these are the inadequate market knowledge. The farmer decide. I mean, my fellow farmers in the villages, other farmers are doing, so I should go for it. So because of that, what's happening that there is a glut. Huge production are coming and the price drops. And we have seen in vegetables, some of my colleagues are here. The farmers just literally throw the produce on the street, on the road, because they can't just, they can't take care of the harvesting cost itself. So that's because of the inadequate market knowledge. Uncertain produce prices that I told, because there are no scientific way to grow the crop. I mean, suppose somebody is growing tomatoes, just tomato prices are very high, the farmer just go for tomatoes. So by virtue of that, what's happened, there is a glut in the market, huge production comes up and the prices decline. So again, the farmer switch to some other crop. So, I mean, there's nobody is there to advise them that this is the country production and this is the way you should go for other crops or something. Lack of infrastructure to reach mandi in time. I mean, the roads condition, I mean, the way the villages, interior villages, now the infrastructure is getting better for last 5 years, but still there are a lot to be done. Lack of proper storage facility is almost a non-existent. I mean, if you go for find a good storage facility to keep my vegetable, my fruits, like cold chain, all those are not available. Surprisingly, I mean, you all know that the post-harvesting losses, almost 1/3 of agri production is lost due to spoilage. I mean, this is so pity that 1/3 of farmers that they produce, I mean, is not getting consumed. It is all waste. So these are the challenges. I mean, there are many. I just try to pick up some of the challenges that our farmers are facing nowadays. Okay, I mean, whatever we do as a seed company or any agri-based company, farmers are in the center. All our policies, all our strategy, all our systems, all our technology, even the government sector, they are focused, the doubling farming. Everybody talks about farmers, farmers and farmers. But it is still pity, unfortunate that their condition is still, their livelihood is still very bad. They are still very poor, and the technology are not really reaching at the doorstep of the farmer. So there are a lot of things we all need to do. The government sectors, private sectors, NGOs, financial agencies, local communities based at taluka level, district level. So all of us have a role to play to take care of the farmers and their prosperity. It is not only one sector. I mean, even if we in a private sector we want to do a lot, but there are a lot of area we need the support from the government sector or NGO or even financial agencies, some banks or some finance institutions. They have to lend some money to the farmers. Of course, we are happy that some insurance, crop insurance are just coming and some farmers are getting benefited. So, I mean, in all our strategy, in all our planning, farmers are in the center and is going to remain in the center. But it's our speed. I mean, at which speed we are going to work for the farmers so that they just come up and their income level comes up, their prosperity level improves. Okay, partnering with farmers. I mean, as I told, as a seed company, we do a lot. I mean, whatever we do, all the companies, we just work for the farmers, farmers and farmers. They are at the center of all our strategy, all our focus. But how are you going to partner with them in a very selfless way so that their prosperity become the center? Okay, I mean, this is my idea. Like we can extend sustainable agriculture practices to the farmers because still the agri extension is a very the agri extension knowledges are not reaching at the doorstep of the farmers. So there is a huge gap. So we whatever little we can do, we need to extend that knowledge at the doorstep of the farmers. Building bridges over barriers. There are a lot of barriers. There are a lot of challenges which are going to stay. I'm not telling that overnight all the challenges will evaporate. No, but we need to build the bridges. We need to build the chains where we can overcome these barriers and move ahead. We build a long-term economic viability of farming business. That's a great impact. Food, vegetables, all are so important for us. I mean, imagine if farmers are not going to do farming and they are moving to the cities and towns, they are in like by construction business, there are some other diamond business and other business. Who is going to take care of the farming? I mean, we need food to eat. We can't import everything. I mean, there is 10 billion people is going to be there in 2050. So we need to work on a long-term economic viability of farming business. Farmers will keep on doing farming as long as it is economically viable for them. So we all need to do that. Inculcate interest in next generation farmer. What's happening? Many of you agree with me that the young generation, the sons and daughters of the farmers, they are just moving to the cities and towns. They don't want to soil their hands. They are not interested in this farming. So we need to inculcate some level of interest by modern technology or doing some different kind of crops so that they are interested to remain in this farming business. We have to contribute to lift farming family out of poverty. It's so pity that the farmers who are feeding us, they are most of them, I mean the small and marginal farmer I'm talking about, they remain in abject poverty. So we have to, each of us have to lift the farming families out of this poverty. And I'm sure with more of disposable income, they can afford good education, housing, and better living standards. I mean, they will be definitely better off. So how to increase that disposable income at the hands of the farmers. So as a seed company, we have a lot to do, and I'm going to share on that. Okay, this is basically for the students. You are agribusiness student. Many of you are agriculture graduates. You know what seed, but I just keep on talking 2 minutes on this. Seed is a living organism. This is where our entire strategy in seed business, seed company, uh, entire strategy depends on the concept that it is a living organism. So we are not dealing with some non-living, like it's not a pen, it's not, like TV, or it's a living organism. So seed is an embryonic plant enclosed in a protective outer covering. So it has a life actually. So we have to deal it in very delicate way. It's a basic material that determines the genetic constituent of the crop. That's so important. I mean, uh, if you see in Western country, of course, it is very high. It's almost 10 to 15% of the total cost of cultivation the farmer spends on seed. But in India, it is still very less. That basic material which determines the crop, its yield. But for the seed, they just spend less than 5%, 4%, even less. So that is where the basic fundamental change we have to bring. The seed, the good quality seed, which is determining my crop yield, my returns, because I'm spending on fertilizer, I'm spending on irrigation, labor, land lease, and everything. But if I'm not choosing the right quality of seed, then I'm faltering with my production, my income goes down. So that's where we need to really teach the farmers to go for good quality seed. It decides, as I told, overall yield of the crop in optimum growing and climatic conditions. That seed, that genetic material, that decides the overall yield. Of course, there is a contribution from fertilizer, from pesticide, from irrigation. They have their own contribution, but the biggest contribution is the genetic constituents of the seed that the farmers are using. So it needs, since seed is a living organism, my friends, my students who are there, they need to understand that when you think to join a seed company, the first thing you need to realize, I'm going to handle a living seed, living organism. So it needs to be handled very, very careful. At production, at processing, at packing, at storage, at all the functions, it has to be handled carefully so that the seeds remain live. As a seed company, what exactly we do? Our product designing center. I'm just now moving to the, seed and the seeds marketing and what exactly we do to improve the prosperity of the farmer. So our entire product design that centers on farmers and consumer requirements. So whenever we design a product in our R&D or in a product development, the main focus is, am I going to give higher return to the farmer? Am I going to give better crop to the farmer? Of course, when we talk about vegetables and all, there are some consumer requirements also are factored in. Like the quality, like watermelon, it has to be sugar percentage. There are many small parameters consumer also are looking for. But the main focus is the farmers. So basically, the first is return. The farmers should get higher return for unit area, for unit time, and for unit resource. That is basically more from less. Land is going to be lesser and lesser, gentlemen. The resources are always getting constrained. The water is shortage, all this water is shortage. A farmer wanted to grow more crops. So basically, he has to get a return, he has to get more income for unit area, for unit time, and for unit resources. And the most important is, can we give the earliness to the farmer? Because in each crop, the farmers is requiring, can I get an early crop so that I can get better harvest in lesser time? Fruit quality and storability, particularly for vegetable farmers, because they have to carry the produce to a distant market. And the fruit quality also, the storability, the perishability, long distance transportability. So these are so important for deciding the breeding focus. When we design the product, we look at the food quality, the shape, size, the storability, all these are very critical. Another most important is stress tolerance and adaptability. Because I mean, in India, if you see the farming is full of our climate and other stress are unlimited actually. So our crop, when we design a hybrid or design a variety, it has to tolerate that stress. Different stress that is there in each part of the country. That means it has to be good. It has the good adaptability. Then the crop should have a good disease and pest tolerance. That is because the more and more diseases are coming, and the crop is getting affected because of that. So we want to breed or design a product which can have much better tolerance than the variety or hybrid is growing. So I mean, if you see our product designing part, I mean, of course, when we design a product and the output, and when we deliver the product, there's a time lag. It takes about 5 years, 7 years, something like that. It's not easy. I mean, we keep on trying. It's kind of invention. You keep on trying something, you have certain goals, you keep on trying. Then, I mean, you have to follow all the practices, all the principle of breeding. Then, if you are lucky, you can get a good product that satisfies all the requirements. So how are you going to ensure the farmer's success? Because the more critical is they have to be successful. They have to get more prosperous. They have to get more money, isn't it? I mean, when we talk about farmers, I mean, their picture in a small and medium farmers, their family, that is coming into our mind. So, as I told many times, we all have to contribute in their success. So basically, as a seed company, we give the high yielding, good quality seeds to them, and I mean, we tell them the package of practices, because just handing over a good quality seed is of no use unless until we tell them very carefully what are the package of practices. I mean, which season, land, fertilizer, pesticide, irrigation, all the agricultural operation, all these things has to be told to them. Otherwise, I mean, a good quality seed, if it is not managed nicely, he may not get the potential yield that is there. Timely advice on the crop management, that is where all the seed people, we have a role to play. We keep on going to the field and give the proper advice on the crop management. Sharing market information, this is very, very important, because I mean, as I told just few minutes before, the farmer doesn't even know which crops to grow, because I mean, his advisor is the fellow farmers, or from here and there he listens that the prices is very high, I should go for it. But that may not be the correct decision, isn't it? Because if all the farmers are going to grow one crop in one state or district, look, I mean, there will be glut, and the farmer will be unable to sell that produce in the market, and the price will go down. Again, he will get poor. He cannot even recover his cost. So we need to educate the farmer. They need to diversify the crop. They have to grow different crops. If they are growing vegetable, let them grow 4, 5 different kind of vegetables that he can easily sell it out. So those market information we have to share. Help him decide on the crop that I talked. You have to decide. You have to keep on telling him and let him decide the right crop for him. Produce price information and guidance. We have to tell him that what are the prices currently, and what, I mean, let's talk about corn. I mean, corn is a kind of a global crop. If the corn is produced much higher quantity, the crop acreage is much higher in China or Brazil or US, definitely the prices is going to go down. There will be a pressure on price. So some of the crops are global crops. So there we can have the information, and we can tell them that okay, you go for this crop. I mean, at least we can give a honest advice. And the post-harvest technology, I mean, as I told, 1/3 of the crop is getting lost because of the spoilage. So we have to transport that knowledge to the farmer. So these are the few things. There are many. I just pin some of these things that we can advise farmer so that he gets the success. Okay, I mean, now I'll talk about the seeds marketing. I mean, many of you may understand, okay, it's a good quality seed. I mean, easy to sell. I mean, what is there? I mean, complete picture of the seed marketing is getting changed actually. That's why I wrote that it has to be redefined. we have to redefine the seed market. Eventually, all the seed companies, we don't sell the seed. I mean, this is, and for you, you will not, you think that what is this? You don't sell seed? Yes, we don't sell seed because we sell the technology and we sell the package, we sell the trust, we sell the belief, and the farmer has to trust us. We just don't sell the seed. Oh, I mean, as a seed company, we are not only for profit. Profit is a byproduct actually. If farmers is your center and you transfer a good technology, good seed, good agriculture practices, that we sell, then seed is one of the component in that. And in the seed marketing, the farmers, you know that many small and marginal farmers are not very literate. And we need to develop the trust and a relationship. And, many times during my career, I have told to many of my colleagues, I mean, we are not selling seed, we are selling trust, we are selling relationship. I mean, if we develop a very good relationship, farmer just believe in us. Whatever we told, he just believe it because he had a very good experience with us before. So this is a basically trust, mutual trust. I trust you, you trust me. And if we can develop a very good relationship with the farmer, and then he's going to do everything for you. He's going to listen to you. So how can you? I mean, to my students, to the youngsters, I mean, how are you going to develop that trust and relationship? See, you don't sell seed. Giving, helping, and serving. These are the attitude we have to develop in the seed industry. We are there to give you something. We are not here to sell seed and take my money and forget it. No, I'm here to give something, give technology, give advice, give information, and I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you to grow a very good crop and serving, basically serving the community. I mean, they are the most downtrodden community in our country. So, I mean, service to mankind, service to God, service to farmer is service to God also. Because these are the people who are growing crops and we are eating every day. So this is giving, helping, and serving. Empowering Seva. We are the concept of Seva, you are service. So when you join a seed company or want to work in a seed company, you need to inculcate the value of service, value of Seva into it, and go extra mile to help. I mean, it may not be necessarily, it is, suppose you joined Akshay Seed, is related to Akshay Seed and you want to help. No. If farmer needs certain help in some other crops, some other information, go extra mile to help so that you can enjoy his trust. You can develop that trust. Penance, like tapasya. Many of you understand Hindi. So this job of, like seed marketing or helping farmers, you need to have a huge tapasya. This is tapasya. I mean, serving the farmers. That is the attitude you have to bring. Then only you can develop, build that trust. Commitment. You need to have a commitment to serve the farmer. It's not a job. It's not the salary. It's not the benefit. It's my commitment to help my farmers. In my country, I need to help the farmers. This is my commitment. My commitment to helping farmer, serving farmer is 100%. So that has to be the attitude. Honesty and integrity. See, farmers are, very simple people. You all know them. And they don't like, dishonest people telling lies, telling something from the air. No, we have to be absolutely honest. And we are full of integrity to serve them. Then sincerity of what you are doing. If you are doing something, you are going to them, you have given them some trial seed, demo seed. We have to be very sincere in following up, giving them the right information. So if we do this, I mean, generally some of these we do that in seed company. Then we build the trust, we build the brand, and we develop that relationship with the farmers. I told you, this is such a noble job. We are serving the farmers who feed the world. And can you believe the farmers who are giving us the food, who are giving us the feed, they remain in poverty? I mean, think of this. They don't have money to eat. They don't have, their children are not going to good school, good college. They are feeding the world. I mean, imagine if all the farmer will move to cities and go in different sectors, construction, this, that, infrastructure. Where is the food? We all will starve. So we are, I mean, such a noble job, gentlemen. I mean, we are serving the farmers who are feeding the world. So, I mean, another concept of seed marketing. I always believe from my beginning that seed is speed. Whatever we want to do, we want to make it very fast. I mean, if it has to be done tomorrow, do it today. If it has to be done today, do it now. It is the speed, because it is a seasonal business. The season remains for many crops for 1 month, 2 months, 15 days. The rain starts, the sowing starts. So everything we have to do fast. There is no complacency. It's a buyer's market. Gone are the days when the seed company produce the seed and they sit on the gunny bag and farmers have a queue and they deliver the seed. Gone are the days. This is the buyer's market. There are very good companies. There are many seed companies having R&D. They all are doing very good research and farmers have the choice. They are going for better quality, better seeds on which they have good experience. Farmers are more demanding, of course. They have to, they are customers. They are demanding. I need this. I need the early crop. I need this tolerance. I need better yield. I need good cropping crop, plant structure. All these things. Market requirements keeps on changing. For us, the market is changing very fast. It is not the same. Climate and other stress are becoming multifold. You know that the climatic and other stress are many multifold now. So that's very very important while we design a seed marketing. Farmer expect fast service, solution, and attention. So they nowadays they need the fast delivery, fast service, and good solution, and they need attention. And product life cycle, PLC's product life cycle is becoming very shorter. If we launch a good product within like 2 years, 3 years, some competitor will come up better product, and our product will just go away. So we expect much faster new product launches. And innovation is the key. If we have a very innovative, value-added product, then that is going to improve the prosperity of the farmer. Okay. So, as a seed marketer, suppose you wanted to join the seed company, some of the students, then what are the qualities we are looking at? I mean, I'll just go through one by one. Technical knowledge and skills, of course. Honesty and integrity. I talk on this. Because since you are dealing with a very simple customers, we want very honest and full of integrity. Passion. We need to have passion to service. I mean, you don't have passion, you just take it as a job, 9 to 5, this, that is not really the industry you should look at. You should love rural job because, majority of time you are going to spend in villages. You don't have good road, good food, good hotels and all these things. So, I mean, somebody loving this job, he should take. You need to have a good communicator. Even if you can't communicate to your customer, to your farmers, then that's not really good quality. We even in the local language, I mean, all our communications are in local language. You should have open mind to learn. You should have feel for the farmers. You should have inherent feeling for them, and you need to have a good listener. And suppose what we do in a seed company, we have a brand strength and value. That is, of course, if you have a good company, we have certain value in our company or strength. Then our product performance, that is doing better. I have launched a new product. Yeah, that's doing better. I'm going to talk on the next two, stronger marketing network. See, that is also very vital in when we redefine the seed marketing. So we have to have a stronger marketing network and aggressive sales promotion. I'm going to talk a little bit on this next two. See, all of you know the marketing network, finding the right dealers in most of the places, credit worthiness of the dealer, because I mean, most of the dealers, they don't give us the bank guarantee. I mean, they don't give us their land, papers and all these things. It's all clean credit we give. So that's why somebody have to evaluate the credit worthiness of the dealer. Dealer's appointment, we have a protocol in all the seed company how to appoint a dealers and what are the issues we need to take care of. Dealer motivation and contribution, I'm going to talk on that because it will take long time if I want to describe all this. And annual review of dealers. So these are the, when we talk about the network, because that is also very dynamic. That keep on changing. I mean, the dealers are not anybody's company. That today they are mine, tomorrow they may be somebody else. Because they just look for good product, good company, good brand. So they just keep on moving actually. So how to motivate and, get the best contribution from them? Treat them as a business partners. And all these dealers, how to increase your market share in their overall business. Suppose some dealer is doing 5 crore, 10 crore. So how are you going to take better market share from in their total business? Dealer sales and margin from your product. If you are giving very good sales, you have a very good product, you are doing very good activity in the field, and your product is giving good margin to them, so they will be interested. You introduce and explain on various incentive schemes that will keep on floating. I mean, we do a lot of field days when our good quality seed have a very good field. Then we invite them and involve them in sales campaigning and field days. I mean, the dealer who come to our field day, they see our product live and they become a good spokesperson of the product because they are the first retail counter where the farmers come and ask for the product. So they have become the good spokesperson of the products and the company. They develop the personal rapport. I mean, we need to develop good rapport and relationship with the dealer. Again, business of relationship. With the relationship with the farmer, relationship with the dealer, distributor. I mean, in a rural marketing, particularly in input marketing, seed marketing, the relationship plays a very key role. And that relationship can only be developed with the honesty, integrity, and good, trust. We do annual meeting and reward for best performance and company tools. These are for the dealer. So I'm now going to a little bit talk about sales promotion. I have to move a little faster. In the sales promotion, even if I have a very good product in my marketing basket, and what all I have to do so that it is more visible and the farmers are interested to try this product. First is, suppose some of you join as a salesman or in a marketing department. So you need to understand the products that you are going to sell, method of sale promotion, that information and communication tool, that is ICT, impact assessment on sales. So whatever promotional program you do, activity you do, you need to assess the impact on the sales and of course the brand building. See, first is, suppose you are going to sell some product, you are in sales and you want to sell the product. So you want to understand the farmer's needs in specific market segment. You need to be very clear about the market segment and the farmer's requirement. If farmer require X and you are giving Y, then farmer is not going to accept it. So you need to understand their needs and in that in the specific market segment. Identifying the right products after successful trialing demo. We all do that. We make a huge number of trial and demos and we identify the right product after doing that demo. Product placement, this is very important. I mean, even if I have a right product, I placed it in the wrong market, then I'm going to fail. Or vice versa. If a wrong product, I put it in the right market, then only fail. So you have to push, you have to place your product at the right market. That means you need to understand the characteristic of the product. You need to understand the requirement of the market. Then it has to match. Information of product superiority over competitor. See, farmers are using some XYZ product. I mean, you are going to influence them, come and try my product. Then you yourself need to understand that what are the superiority over the competitor or the product he is trying now. Finding product USP, unique selling points, you need to understand what exactly you are going to tell to the farmers. Clear understanding of season, coverage area, segment. You need to have that understanding. Otherwise, you are going to sell in the wrong market. Incremental value concept. Suppose, that is where I'm going to spend 1 minute on this. See, we are talking the farmer prosperity, isn't it? Suppose farmer is getting, let's say, 50,000 rupees, and with your product, he's going to get 60,000 rupees. That is the incremental value he's going to get just by changing the seed, the different hybrids. So your seed, I mean, 50,000 to 60,000, all rest of the inputs, let's understand the same. That means 10,000 rupees incremental value is getting. So as a good seed company, as a leading company, can we expect 5 or 10% of the incremental value that the farmer is getting by just switching to a new product? Suppose 10,000, am I going to get the premium 10% of that? That means that 1,000 rupees extra can I charge for my product on which I work for last 10 years. So you all know sales promotion, the activities that have been done during pre-season, season, post-season and seed company to create demand for the products in the desired market segment. I mean, we do the activity before the season, we do the activity during the season, and we do the activity after the season because it all involves the farmers. So there are a lot of demand creation activities done to make an understanding about the product and create a demand. We do the field days and crop shows. You know that good field are there. So we invite a lot of farmers and we show them, and we talk about the strength of the product. We do the field trips. We keep on, inviting farmers from different villages every day, like 10, 20, 30 farmers keep on visiting. We meet the retailers, nurseries, traders, financiers. These are the pre-season. Participate in exhibition and product display, preparing product testimonial. Product testimonial means some farmers have very good result by, in their demos or in the past, when they take some small sample. Then we need to, you need to record their observation, their feedback, their understanding of the product. Then during the sales season, we make sales campaigning, jeep campaigning. We take the jeep and it's a kind of election rally. You go village to village, talk to the farmers and make them aware about this fund. I mean, we do the area coverage plan. We take area and covered and go to each and every, try to go to each and every village. We do the village meeting, night meeting. We do the nursery coverage, retailer coverage. Display, that banner, poster, hoarding. If you go to rural market during the season, you can see a lot of banner and poster and hoardings and danglers and all these things. And we do the dealers annual meetings. So during the season, when the season is going on, we do the video testimonial. I told you the testimonial. So that testimonial is show during the season to help the farmer to recover. Because farmers, sometimes they forget. So we have to recall them back that you have grown this crop and this is the video testimonial of that. We now the technology, we use the WhatsApp and SMS and give vouchers, coupons and all this we do in the sales season. We involve the successful farmers in farmers meetings. See, when we gather a farmer, like if you see the pictures of farmer meeting is going on, night meeting, we call a successful farmer who have grown already one of our hybrids of crop, and we request them to share their experience so that farmers believe other farmers. That is the fundamentally that is correct. So that raise the confidence and trust of other farmers. We use the agri magazines and all. So after the farmer, after the season, when the sale is done, these are the tracking we do, who all the farmers have taken, and we wanted to reach most of the farmers. We can't reach all, but try to do as many farmers as possible. Visit farmers field, guide farmers, successful crops, sharing information with farmers, fertilizer, pesticide. See, as I told you, it's a service, It is, our sale is done, we should forget. No. Our sale, when the sale is done, my job starts from now. I have to keep on going for next 3 months, 4 months, keep on going to the farmer field. And these are all like, we don't charge for this. These are basically free service to the farmer. The more information you share, package of practices, extension of knowledge, agronomy, all these things, then you build up the trust. You develop a good level of relationship. Then whenever you are coming up with a new product, farmer will be interested to take. Ensuring and preparing some good field activity, building relationships with dealers, sharing market price information that I do. See, these are some of the pictures you see. As a seed company, we do a lot of these activity during the season. I mean, all of us. I mean, in many, wherever the field is good, we do the activity, pre-season, post-season. So, I mean, if you want to join a seed company, if you would join us, are you ready to do all this kind of activity in rural areas? I mean, very challenging, very difficult. These are not basically white collar jobs. So be prepared. I told you the passion, the service. So those are the things you require. I'm going to talk about two, three slides on digital marketing. You know, this COVID situation, even before COVID situation, the agriculture domain is going to change. The way we, want to sell or market, the traditional way is going to keep on staying there. I'm not telling that it will just evaporate, but side by side, because the internet users, the mobile users are so high in rural areas. So they are just competing with urban India. So that's why the companies are thinking now, can we use this medium to communicate our message to the farmer? So these are the digital, I just pick up some of the magazine business today's, the January 15, 17. So these are the digital agriculture, empowering farmers, partial data infrastructure, a lot of data infrastructure they're developing, cloud computing, mobile drones. You have seen the drones, you might have heard. They are, you started using for sprays and remote sensing, image processing. This is very important, with the camera, people know how many acreage has been done in which crop, advanced analytics and artificial intelligence. I mean, you know that AI has a big role to play in crops also. I mean, some of the scientists, some of the companies have started working on AI in agriculture. We next 5 years we are going to see a lot of AI users. Machine is going to use because their intelligence is will be equal like human being. Of course, we design them, but they are going to be a lot of helpful in our quality control, in our research, even some of the marketing, unique identifiers. I mean, I just pinpoint some of these which many of us started doing now. The mobile devices, as I told, mobile reach is very high. We are real-time data gathering. We are getting the data real-time now. Information dissemination. We want to send some information, critical information during the season on product, on technology, on package. We can just disseminate through mobile. I mean, there's so important tools for us. Earlier, it was not there. The digital services, computer, internet, they can capture and process the data. The crop type, quality, disease, acres, all the data we can get it from the villages, and we can get a lot of information out of it. Promote products and services. Many of us have started using that. Data storage and analytics. So data are very important. We can store it and we can make a lot of analytics. Internet are very important, and as our Prime Minister has already have a vision, all the villages will be connected to high-speed internet. So can we, as a marketing company, as a seed company, can we use this benefit? Connect diverse source of information, support deliver of more specific information. We want to send some information, we can use that. Data into actionable information, knowledge, and AI. Then you know that UAV and GIS, that drone, that unmanned vehicle that we are using, they've started using in farming. Some spray and it is going to be used more and more. People are innovating; they are inventing how this can be used. Partial collection and information and remote sensing. So we can see next 5 years, the young generation, you guys are coming up. So you will do a lot on this in next 5 to 10 years. So, I mean, my last 2, 3 slides, we have done everything. I mean, we have identified the product, we have paid for it, we did a good networking, we have a good, demand creation activity at different level, pre-season, season, and post-season. Now we have to impact the assessment. What we have done as a company, whether my sales has increased, whether my business has increased. Otherwise, we have to change our strategy. I mean, it's not going to work. So that is the way it has to look at. So track last year sales versus current year sales. Take some key villages, find out the sales growth over last year. You need to have a village-wise data. You have to do the sales concentration. Means after field day, trip or meeting. Suppose I do a field day or field trip. I need to understand the sales concentration. That means earlier, let's say 100 hectare was being grown or 50 hectares is being grown. After my activity, the sale is done, whether my area has gone. So that is called sales concentration, number of hectares grown. of your brand into 100 by total hectare growth. Self-penetration, how am I penetrating with all these activity in a taluka? Study each of your brand over last year, number of village. I mean, there are, let's say, 100 or 150 villages in a district. I have covered already. I've done a lot of activities. Last year, I've reached only 10 villages. Whether I have reached 20 villages, now 30 villages. So that's called the penetration. Am I penetrating enough by doing all these activities? Sales retention. Suppose I have a very good market share in some villages. Am I retaining that market share, or I'm losing that to some competitors? Finally, the brand building. I mean, we have to create a brand. We have to create a company. I mean, in the farmers, we enjoy his trust. We develop the relationship. And the moment he sees that brand, then he has all his experiences into that. Okay, this is a company, this is a brand, these have given very good product. They have changed my life. I mean, I'm now better off by growing their crop. So first is brand awareness, then visibility through all these activities that we have done. Trust on brand. Year after year, season after season, we are giving the best quality product. He is getting more income. He's getting more prosperous. He's getting more money. So he is going to develop that trust. Then the brand strength, then the brand becomes much stronger, and then we develop the brand loyalty. See, whatever you say, the farmer is going to come back to us, come back to our company. So, I mean, this is what I would like to summarize on my, farmers' prosperity and redefining the marketing. Okay, gentlemen,